Welcome back to another episode of Iron Rage, the show where John Romano and I release our pent-up frustrations with the world. And today's topic is clients or athletes who send filtered pictures for the daily or their weekly progress updates to their coaches. I, John Romano, have received from several different clients, so all of you guys out there who think I'm talking about you, I am, but it's not just you. And this, I don't want to, I'm not mad at you guys, but I just want to show off or maybe enlighten a few people out there as to how ridiculous it would be to send a filtered picture to your coach who's trying to evaluate whether you're in shape or not via these digital pictures so that he can make changes and peak you for a show. Now, John, I mean, the social media aspect of what goes on, people posting pictures on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, is such a phenomenon now and people are being judged and viewed and assessed by what they put up that everyone now alters the pictures. And, these apps give you the ability to do it. It's not like you have to go into Photoshop like in the old days and actually manipulate it. You just kind of put filters on them, you lighten things up, you add a little color, contrast, and before you know it, the picture looks nothing like the person, original picture. And I had a client today who sent me a photo update, and I'm like, this guy's like 5 days out from a show, or a week out from a show. I'm like, he looks almost too good, like he has protein on. I'm like, is this picture filtered? Oh, only a little bit. I said, well, how the hell am I supposed to know if you're in shape or not if you're sending me filtered pictures? Goes back to the old, what Bleckman used to do with MD, he probably still does it, back in the old days with Per Bernal pumping up the different muscle groups of the bodybuilders. I mean, Johnny's got the picture of Bleckman shaking Wolf's hand. Remember that picture?
Yeah, Bleckman's arm is bigger than Wolf's. Because I was closer to the camera. It makes it look...
He went from 11 inches to 20 inches, yeah. Anyway, what do you think about this? I mean, you prep people for shows. Yeah, have you experienced that at all?
I don't know which is worse. Calling the promoter and asking if they give out participation trophies or filtering the photos to your coach. I think both are and by the way, that's true. I know a promoter who was asked that.
Participation trophies.
Snowflakes are starting to compete, which is considering being a snowflake kind of is the antithesis of what a bodybuilder is. Yeah. So the fact that they're melding and mixing is kind of odd. But a snowflake would think that they're just entitled to have a great body and they should have been born with it.
What's a snowflake? Explain.
Snowflake?
Yeah.
Am I further enlightening you to pop culture? We started with dad bod last
No,
week?
I know what a snowflake is. For some people, I think they may not understand.
A snowflake is what the modern day liberals have gestated and reproduced it to their offspring, who have an inflated sense of their own uniqueness and specialness, and they're called snowflakes because theoretically no two snowflakes are alike.
Gotcha.
So the snowflake mentality is that their parents have bolstered their uniqueness and their one of a kindness and they're special and entitled, and these kids grow up. No sense of responsibility, no skill set. They don't know how to do anything. They're lazy. They're unmotivated. They think everything is their birthright. They don't think they should have to work for anything, and everything should be free. The Bernie Sanders supporters, basically.
I got you.
So that's the ones that are still crying that Trump won the election. That's a snowflake.
All right, so get back to the filtering of pictures now.
Well, I do a good bit of online coaching. Granted, now most of it's CrossFit, so I'm not dealing so much with pictures anymore. Mm-hmm. But the few that I do have, you need that photo, man. I mean, we're working with you remotely. It's so difficult to get the accurate idea of what you actually look like, how thick your skin is, and how really well conditioned you are by a photo. Even if it's the best HD photo going. To go ahead and filter it to make it look better what do you expect to get out of that? What's the end game?
Well, the end game is that you're not going to be in shape for the show because the coach is going to think you look too good and he's not going to do anything. I was ready to give this guy carbs to eat, and load him up a little bit because I thought maybe he was too hard. And then I saw the real picture and I was like, well, he's still really good. But I wanted to get him a little bit tighter before I start, feeding him a little more. So you don't want to fool the coach. You could fool the rest of the world on social media, but don't fool me. And I think that's a huge mistake. And I know people out there do it. There's probably people that I don't even catch doing it. I got a pretty good eye for pictures. But if you're out there and you're sending your coach filtered pictures, changing the lighting, doing anything to them to make them look better, you are a fool. If anything, your coach should think you look worse than you do in the pictures, not better.
You're throwing your money away.
I know.
You're paying your coach, and you're paying your coach to lie to him. I mean, what maniac does that?
There's a lot of people out there that are doing it now because they're so used to hitting the filter button on their pictures that what they do is they put them on Instagram, then they copy them and send them to like me or you or whoever's coaching them, not even thinking about it. I think a lot of people do it unconsciously, but it's deceptive for. I don't care if it's deceptive for anyone else. It's deceptive for me, the coach, to make decisions based on the evidence that you're giving me, and the evidence is not what I think it is. So it's a foolish move. Don't ever do it again, anyone out there. If you're watching this and you're like, oh man, I've done that before. Don't do it anymore. It's terrible. It's gonna make you not look good on stage. You're gonna get the worst and the wrong information. Now, Johnny, what was done to these pictures here that you're showing me? I remember this was up recently. Oh, that's Paige Hathaway, right? Who had her waist reduced by 18 inches, on Photoshop. I got a great idea. Look, if you want to cut me in on the action, anyone out there who's an app developer, here's the app I want to make. I want to make an app where you put your picture in and you can just change the proportions. It might even be out there already. But like really, it'll look really good. Like you can increase your arms a half an inch, you can decrease your waist 2 inches, but not have it look distorted. It would be.
It's called Photoshop.
No, but that's too hard. Photoshop is hard to use if you don't. I want an app where it's like no. You hit waist and it makes your waist small. You hit arms, it makes your arms bigger. That kind of thing.
And then if you get that one developed, then I'm going to want to get one developed that strips all of that shit off.
Undoes it.
Well, it's going to be a filter stripper. And I put the photo in my app, and it removes all the enhancements, and I get to see what you actually really look like.
That's right. But think about it. I mean, really, the evolution of filtering pictures started back with Photoshop. You're right. Back in the day before there was even internet, and where photographers would touch up pictures and make them look better than they were. Per Bernal is one of the greatest photographers, I believe, in our industry, even to this day. And he was also the greatest Photoshopper of all time. I mean,
I watched him do it.
Yeah.
I watched him do it on his computer at a photo shoot, and he does it fast, and he's just amazing. But my point, since you're talking about him, the idea to like overblow a picture. I mean, Jay Cutler's left quad, it never ever needed to be any bigger.
No.
Ever.
No.
Never. Evan Centopani's chest never needed to be wider than it is. So why would you put a magazine cover together that just blatantly and obviously overtly distorts the image of a guy who's already world class, the best in the world, insane, the best in the country? Right. Why would you do that?
Do you remember when Blackman had Kim Kardashian on the cover of Fitness RX for Women?
Do I remember? I fought against that cover. She's in a fucking dress.
And I'm sure it was Photoshop too.
In a full-length dress she's in, on a cover of a girl's fitness magazine. I argued against that. I said, you can't do that. You will not sell one of those magazines. Yeah, it's Kim Kardashian. Her and Paris Hilton are making sex tapes. So, like he even knows what a sex tape is. It's just like, to him, it's like putting two pieces of tape together. That makes it a sex. So
Johnny found the cover. He found it. This was the most Photoshopped cover of all time, too.
And it was, true to my word, the worst to this day, the worst selling magazine, Fitness RX issue ever in the history of the magazine. Ever.
You know what? He was like, she's so fat. He kept saying that. I remember he was in the office. She's so fat. What are we going to do? What are we going to do?
And then she's in the gym and she's got a full one-piece warm-up suit on with a Ferrari label on it. You know, it was the stupidest photo shoot ever, and it cost a fucking fortune, of course.
Oh, he had to pay her?
But even just paying her to do it, you know?
That's true, yeah. And she probably needed.
Kim Kardashian in his studio, that title alone raises it $1,000 a day.
We got to get Per Bernal on the show once and get some interviews with him, because he probably has the greatest Bleckman stories of all time. He won't use them. He won't tell us probably, though.
Yeah, he you know what? Per, I talked to him not that long ago on the phone. Per is the nicest guy in the entire world.
I know.
And he, you know, he would, you know, and to a larger degree, to a lesser degree, you know, we in one way or another, we all do owe Steve, you know, some, you know, vote of appreciation for, you know, the chances he gave us.
Yeah.
But it was, you know, our hard work and our talent that brought us to the top. You, me, Per, you know, Ron Harris, you know, guys who, you know, were the backbone of that magazine in its heyday. And I think Per, you know, I would guess, knowing Per as I do, that he probably has a good, you know, image of that in his head, and he doesn't want to burn the bridge, and he's got really nothing against Steve.
No, I don't. I mean just stories about the athletes he shot, because he shot everyone.
But they're not interesting compared to what he knows about Bleckman. Come on.
Well, guys, it goes back to the original statement I made. Don't filter your pictures you send to your coaches. Anything else is fair game. Don't filter the pictures you send to your coaches. Dave Palumbo with John Romano for another installment of Iron Rage.